fucking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round 2 recap for this week's Zurich Classic. Joining me to break it all down, Kyle Porter is here. KP, hello to you.
Hello to you, Rick. Kind of a round 1.5 recap.
Yeah, we've been getting on this trend of we start the pod, or the coverage goes off air, we start the pod, or we get to sunset and golf is not done. That's where we're at here. A 2.5 hour weather delay pushed everything back. So as we speak, plenty of golf still to be played.
Plenty of golf. It was a weird day for me in terms of following golf. My wife is out of town, so I've got all the kids. We spent 3 hours at HEB. And
what is HEB?
Oh, Rick. Does producer Josh, do you have any insight here? Can you offer anything?
He said,
well, I know it's a grocery store. Like, I meant jump in and chat about it.
There we go. I am familiar, but I don't have them where I live.
Okay, so it's
like, I imagine if it's in Texas and it's a grocery, it's like a big grocery store.
Do you know Central Market?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Kroger?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting closer.
It's like if Kroger was good.
Is it like a Wegmans?
No, I don't know Wegmans.
So what is that? How is that a normal grocery shopping trip, or is this just chaos up and down every aisle to spend that long there?
Well, so we usually do grocery pickup with just having all the kids and everything. It makes it a lot simpler, but that's my wife's preference. I actually like taking them. I like getting out. I like picking the food. I think it's like, if you go to a bad grocery store, it's a bad experience. But if you go to a good grocery store like HEB, it's actually a very good experience for the most part. I mean, the 3-year-old gets a little antsy, but I like picking out food. I think it's a meaningful thing. And we spent like the equivalent to 5th place money at the Zurich Classic on our groceries today. But it was fantastic.
Do you have to set guidelines? Because I remember growing up, I always had like, okay, you get like $10. You can get anything you want for $10, but like, that's it. Like, you're not going to pick up every box of cereal. Do they have guidelines on like little special treats they can get for themselves?
Yeah, they do. So it's less about the money and more about the amount of. So HEB has these sort of bins where you can like pull the lever or like scoop it out, gummy bears or whatever. And so they're limited to like a small amount of one of those things. So actually 3 of them chose gummy bears today. The other chose like malt balls or something.
Now you think that they would team up, diversify, and share, but that does not sound like it's...
Yeah, their diversification is not their business acumen is not strong right now. So we'll work on that.
Well, you know whose business acumen is strong? That of Xander, Schauffele, and Patrick Cantlay. They are at it again. They shot a Friday 63. I said that right. In alternate shot, which is, we think, the lowest alternate shot score ever, KP.
In like the history of golf?
Well, no. In this event. I imagine there is better.
Yeah, so this event, it was Rahm and everybody's favorite number 1 player in the world partner, yes, Ryan Palmer, back in 2019. They shot 65. And then last year, Garrett Higgo and Brandon Grace shot 65. So this is the best score ever by 2 strokes. It's the best score of the day by 3 strokes. It was nearly the best score of the day by 4 strokes. There was a team that shot 66 behind them. I guess we're not finished yet, but this is extraordinary. I mean, to go out in 30 with 5 threes on the back 9 of the course, their front 9, No bogeys. You made 10 threes on the day. I mean, it doesn't make sense. This is a 4-ball score. It's not an alternate shot score.
Yeah, you were saying this is the best score. It was almost the best score of the week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they posted this in best ball yesterday, they only would have been beaten by 6 teams. It's hard to explain how insane this is, and it comes from the team that you kind of would, if someone was going to go out and shoot a 63 today, this would have been the team that was on the top of your list of guesses, and it moves them up 54 spots. As we sit here right now, they are 2 shots off the lead. They're in at 14 under par.
They beat John Daly and David Duval by 20. Daly and Duval went out in 45. Cantlay and Xander went out in 30, which is wild. I mean, they gained. This will be. I don't know what the number is right now, but they gained 7.5 strokes on the field at the time they finished, or around the time they finished. And I was looking last year, Rick, and they shot 59-68 in the first 2 rounds last year, so they were 17 under through 2 rounds, which is very good. They went on to set the scoring record at this tournament, 29 under. This year, they're 14 under. They did it very differently, though, right? They shot 67 yesterday.
Yeah.
67-63. So they almost flipped they did flip, like, which one was the lowest score, which is so unusual. I mean, it is, if you don't follow golf very, very closely, it's hard to describe how preposterous shooting 63 an alternate shot is.
Yeah, and just the alternate, if you didn't watch today, or if you're not I encourage everybody to watch at least 9 holes of alternate shot, right? I mean, you see so many scenarios where a guy doesn't putt for like 45 minutes, or a guy doesn't hit a driver for like 45. And it's like this, it's so bizarre and so hard on a week in, week out, day in, day out basis, where these guys are getting into a rhythm with every swing. And now they're forced to sit on the sidelines for half the shots. And then the other half of the shots, they are forced to, whether it's hit a recovery shot or just hit from where their partner put them. It really is hard to describe how difficult this format is.
Well, and I think one thing that's hard to kind of wrap your mind around, at least for me, having, we play golf and we played high school and college sports, and just this idea of almost treating each shot as this singular event, which sounds weird because every shot is a singular event, but it's just such a different thing when you're not hitting the next shot. And that's essentially what you were just saying. It's almost like an at bat in baseball, and it's but just if an at bat was just one pitch, right? Like,
and then somebody else came in.
Yeah, it's for the second pitch.
Sorry, Kyle, you're down 0-1. Good luck.
Yeah, it's such a strange. Like, even when I think about it, it would almost be not impossible, obviously, because people can do it, but I would really struggle to play alternate shot because you only hit. When you're out there for 5 hours and you swing 30, you don't even swing 30 times. You probably swing 18 times, 19 times, I don't know, whatever. And then you putt 9 times and that's it, or 10 or 12 or whatever. It's very strange. And so to go shoot 63, I mean, there was some, it's not a hard course. There were some good scores out there, but 63 is just that's a joke. Like, that's really impressive.
It's a joke. They shot up the leaderboard. They are, I'm assuming they are the betting favorites. They are. We'll see how that translates throughout the day. They are still, though, not in the lead, because that honor goes to Wyndham Clark and Beau Hossler at the moment. They are in at 16 under par after following up their 61 on Thursday with a 67 on Friday. I think, KP, the most interesting part about this, because we talk about it all the time, is, when a guy who doesn't have a win yet, when they get in the heat of the battle, when they have an elite guy trying to chase them down, how are they going to react? Well, here's 2 guys with no wins being chased down by a couple of lions in Xander and Cantlay and everybody else. This is going to be interesting how they respond on the weekend.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. I think especially on Sunday, right? Because that's they don't flip it, right? It's alternate shot on Sunday.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting because I think it's even harder to maintain, a lead or something like this when you're doing alternate shot is just such a different thing that to me, that would be extraordinarily difficult if you're trying to get your first win and you've got Cantlay and Xander kind of trying to run you down. But this is impressive. Bogey free, 34-33. This is my one and done pick, so I'm delighted by this.
Nice. Yeah.
I think Patrick and I both had them. Wyndham Clark's playing he's been playing very, very good golf. I've actually been Beau Hossler's career is interesting, right? Because he was really, really good as an amateur and excellent at Texas. And he's been solid as a pro. You don't keep your tour card for however many years he's had it, 3, 4, 5 years, unless you're solid. But him and Scotty Scheffler, we talked about this on Tuesday, him and Scotty Scheffler have gone in like opposite directions, right? And it would be, to me, it'd be pretty cool to see Wyndham Clark and Hossler get their first win, even if it's not, maybe the way that they envisioned it when they were amateurs or playing in college.
At this point, they will take it for sure. At this point of their career, now the teams that are lining up behind KP is very much reminiscent of any Zurich Classic, right? You kind of get this mishmash of like who's playing with who and they're doing what. So just to rattle off a couple of these, you can take this any direction you want. 14 under right now and done. Martin Trainer and Chad Ramey in. Sean O'Hare, Brandon Matthews, they're in. Still out on the golf course, Doc Redman and Sam Ryder. Still out on the golf course, Nick Hardy and Davis Riley. And then if you go to the 13s, we get even deeper into this with like Vincent Norman and Matthias Schwab. We got
sicko stuff.
Henrik Norlander and Luke List. This is what you get in this event sometimes.
It is. It does give you, I think, better perspective on, and I try to talk about this often, like you don't understand how good Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas and Dustin Johnson and all these guys are because you don't really understand how good Chad Ramey is, and I think events like this really shine a light on that where you're like, man, Martin Trainer and Chad Ramey, like what? And they go out, shoot 63, 67. You're like, oh, they're so good. Like they're really good at golf and they get just blasted every week by these stars, by the top players. I think out of that group that you mentioned, Nick Hardy and Davis Riley are probably the most interesting just because they're the youngest. Doc Redman and Sam Ryder are pretty young, but I think Hardy and Riley are they probably have the most upside out of that entire crew. Brandon Matthews pretty young also, I think, but I think they're the most intriguing. They still have they're 6 under through 11. Yeah,
so they are actually like they're going very, very low right now. They just made par on 11, which is the par 5, but they've got some opportunities coming in to post something really good.
Yeah, they also went out in 30, but they did it on the more difficult side of the golf course, right? Most of the low scores, the backside I think is just easier than the front, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's interesting. They could be at or near the lead at the end of the day.
Couple of notables here before we move on. Still out on the golf course, they're 13 under, so that is as of right now 3 shots off the lead. They've got a couple holes to play. Keith Mitchell and Sungjae Im. I saw Keith Mitchell hoop a long putt. When Keith Mitchell starts hooping long putts in this group, they're going to be doing really well. But these two have meshed very, very quickly. They're finding common ground. I don't know if it's common ground, but Keith is teaching Sungjae about Georgia football. I'm not sure what Sungjae is teaching Keith about. Maybe a little Korean, but these two are gelling at the moment.
Yeah, who can say? They're fun. Like they're fun to root for. I think they'll be easy to root for. There's a lot of fun groups to root for. Justin Suh and Sahith. Some of the groups that we've already mentioned. Somebody who in our one and done had Taylor Montgomery and Kurt Kitayama.
I'll find out for you.
Somebody did. I can't remember who, but they're right there at 13 under, or I guess 12 under as well.
There you go.
Here we go. Kyle M.
The illustrious Kyle M, the Magic Man.
So we had one Kitayama and Taylor Montgomery. We had a bunch of Burns and Horschel. They're currently T15.
Yeah, they're still playing right now.
You had Sung Jae and Keith Mitchell, so that's looking pretty good. Almost halfway through.
I'll take it.
And then Patrick and I are looking even better.
That's right. Clark.
When did PGAtour.com start putting odds on their page?
About a year ago.
No. On the leaderboard?
No, that was with I'll tell you what it was. It was Phoenix, because that is when they went to the new site.
Gotcha.
It used to have a tab that you could go to and see the odds, but now that was probably a year ago. And now when they changed the website, I remember because we were in the hotel in Phoenix and I was like, holy crap, they just redid the site. That's when they did this. I'd
never used PGAtour.com because I just use ShotLink because it's the same thing. It's just probably more informative for what we're doing. So that's pretty interesting to see. I had not seen it on there, but what? Yeah. Sorry, I got kids running around all over the place here.
That's all right.
They're watching. Do you ever watch Zach King?
What is that? No, I've never.
He's kind of like he does like magic tricks and stuff, but like not. It sounds like he doesn't pull rabbits out of hats. He does like almost movie like how movies are made, but he does that magic for kids on YouTube. It's very cool.
Zach. I know him.
He's great.
Yeah, I've seen him he'll hold up like a piece of paper or something. It looks like, and then he jumps into it, or yes. Movie magic essentially. Yeah,
he'll do the one where he's on like a hoverboard, but he's got a mirror in front of him, and so it's hiding. It looks like he's floating.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool stuff.
I recognize him.
Yeah, he's very good.
I didn't know that was his name. The brothers, the boys, the Fitzpatricks are stuck in neutral at the moment. They went out in 36. That's even par. They have made one birdie. They have made one bogey. They have played even par on every other hole. They are currently within the cut line, which is going to be T33 and ties. They're in T24, but this is not necessarily the round that they wanted to. It's not going to be super detrimental, I suppose, if they can get one or two coming in, but they're kind of just floating out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think what this highlights is just the reality that you have to go pretty low every day, right? If 25 under, 27 under, 29 under is going to win the golf tournament, you can't shoot 72 one day. I mean, you can. You're probably not going to win, So I think I don't have a ton of takes on it other than it really highlights the fact that you got to go 62, 66, 61, 68, to win the tournament, which is crazy. I mean, it's, again, not a super difficult course, but that's pretty wild to put together 4 rounds like that together as a team.
The big team that is currently outside the cut line with 5 to go is Colin Morikawa and Max Homa. Second shortest odds to win this week. They are 2 under in this alternate shot format here on Friday. They're currently in a tie for 37th. They're going to have a birdie putt on 14, but they've got to do something here. I'm not sure the 8 unders are safe. I think 9 under is where they'd much prefer to be.
Yeah, a lot of time left, but I think we were all kind of on this on Tuesday of I don't know, it just didn't, and I don't really know what the reason, because I'm more bullish on Morikawa than I think most people are right now. Homa's struggled over the last, since the Players, I guess.
Yeah, last 3 starts or so.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. But yeah, I think all 4 of us on Tuesday were just it didn't add up the same way that Cantlay and Xander did. And I don't totally know they could come back and win this tournament for all we know, but I guess them being T37 is not crazy surprising to me based on how we sort of talked about them on Tuesday.
Yeah, still plenty of time to get themselves into the weekend, but a little bit of work to do. We will assess those odds that are now on the PGAtour.com leaderboard. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
A Paramount Plus subscription is now included with your Walmart Plus membership.
Tell the world what happens when they cross me.
For no additional cost, members get a mountain of entertainment.
Are you accusing me of something?
This is great!
Sign up for a Walmart Plus membership and watch all of this and more with your Paramount Plus subscription.
I'm gonna trust you on this.
So I've got this ad read here that goes something like, this weekend on CBS, the PGA Tour heads to the Big Easy with a unique team format taking center stage. And then it says, a field including Morikawa, Homa, and Schauffele tee it up. We might want to hold off on that ad read until they make the cut. It's possible that I could change this ad to say, Cantlay, Schauffele, Wyndham Clark, and Beau Hossler will tee it up. Live coverage begins Saturday and Sunday at 3 Eastern on CBS.
Well, we got to get Sammy Burns some love. Sammy Burns is top 15 player in the world. I feel like he just gets constantly overlooked. He's like JT was to Spieth 6 years ago.
But who is Sam Burns? Who is the Spieth to Sam Burns?
Scheffler.
Oh, yeah, obviously that makes sense.
Yeah, like Drew, and I think now it's hard to think back on, but when Spieth, by the way, there's no podcast that I won't bring Spieth into, but when Spieth was winning, 2 majors, 5 wins, whatever, JT was kind of the forgotten man. Like he was sort of not discarded, but it was like, oh yeah, well, JT was good in college, and you're like, no, wait, this dude is gonna be like, he's still very, very good. So it just, I don't know. Sometimes those friendships get weird in terms of the way they're interpreted by the general public.
Certainly, indeed. Speaking of the general public, let's see what the odds makers have given the general public in terms of odds. There we go. No surprise. Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, your favorites to win the Zurich Classic at the almost halfway point, plus 240. Clark and Hossler holding strong, 4-1, and then a chase pack of Keith Mitchell and Sung J M at 8-1. I'm just picking out some notables here. Burns and Horschel at 18-1. Kurt Kitayama, Taylor Montgomery, 25-1. Any Friday sprinkles you'd like to take a little action on?
Well, I don't know. I think, I mean, it does look like Xander and Cantlay are going to win again, but I think Burns and Horschel are interesting here because they still have 3 holes left. They have the par 5 at the end. They could get it to 13, and then all of a sudden they're more like 12-1 or, something like that. So I that to me is probably the most interesting on here because there's some, real star power there. I'd probably prefer Sung Jae and Keith Mitchell to Wyndham and Beau Hossler at 8. I mean, just at those numbers.
Yeah, these are not super bettable. I think that one, the M and Mitchell, they're two higher end talent players in this field who are playing well at 8-1, a couple shots back. I think that's the only bet on this board you could make. Like, I love Lipsky and Rye. I loved them before the tournament. I just don't think they're going to win. Like, I think they're going to be around all week, but I don't think they're going to win. It feels like we are getting a Xander Cantlay buzzsaw.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you'll get some guys that hang in and roll with them, like Clark and Hossler or Sung Jae and Keith Mitchell, or even Sam Burns and Horschel. But it does feel a little bit like Vince Carter.gif.
You could send it now if you want.
No, that'd be aggressive. I got to save the aggressive ones for the biggest events. I can't be sending one on like Friday afternoon of the Zurich Classic.
It's funny you say that because we'll do like write-ups and stuff for like golf diet, like who's gonna win, and like I know it's so stupid, but like when it's the Masters, I'm like, should I be more aggressive or should I just pick like Scotty Scheffler, right? Like I know more eyeballs are going to be on it. Like it's weird. I like that you said you save the most aggressive ones for the biggest events, which feels counterintuitive a bit.
Well, yeah, but you also want the most amount of people seeing like your thing. Like if your thing is, I don't even know what is your thing as it relates to picking guys.
I don't know. I don't
like
know what
ball striking.
Yeah,
We'll just call it ball striking.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay, well, Max Homa is going to win the PGA Championship, and here's why.
Yeah,
and you go through your whole bit. It's not a bit. You go through your whole like reasoning, which is very sound, but a little counterintuitive. Then I think that's more important that a lot of people see it at that moment, like what you're known for, what you're good at, even if the pick isn't like as safe, if that makes sense.
I think that's right. And it's and there's there's also no benefit to like when Scotty Scheffler is on putt 3 of 4 in the Masters, you being like, it's over. Like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Seth Davis does this in basketball. He does the Sharpie thing. Yeah. But he won't do it until it's guaranteed. And you're like, I mean, congratulations on your success. Like, it's like Joe Lenardi picking the bracketology. Mm-hmm. Like he always gets 61 correct, and you're like, well, yeah, like everybody knew those 61.
Right. It was like the last 3 we needed.
Like you missed the 3 that matter. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's a thrill to it. There's performance art to it.
Well, of course there is. Okay, well, we will be performing again about this time tomorrow on Saturday after round 3 of the Zurich Classic, and of course on round 4, which will be ideally Sunday, for the Zurich Classic. And we'll have a couple of new champions on the PGA Tour. For now, big thanks. Producer Josh does all the hard work behind the scenes. That right there. Kyle Porter. You can find him at Kyle Porter CBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.